and welcome back to another Random Thoughts with Gorilla. So, I was thinking about this after listening to many live streams. I got, especially like reviews and that, we get talking about the old shows, the old episodes, and all that. You can point out a flaw and go, and hey there, Gap, welcome. The link's pinned there if you want to come up, hop on. But anyhow, on the old shows, you're like, you could point out something there and they go, oh, but I love this episode. I'll give it a pass. I've heard that quite a bit from quite a few different people. And hey there, Germ. And, I know the new Trek there is not the greatest. Heaven forbid, I hate, hey there, PvP. And the one thing that I know the newest shows aren't the greatest. God forbid Discovery sucks. That's my own personal opinion. Picard, though, is an interesting concept, and it really wasn't that bad. I still not my cup of tea. Not saying it could be some people's cup of tea, but I like the Strange New Worlds. I like Prodigy, and I like Lower Decks. Prodigy, it may not wholly fit in there. And apparently Germ's disagreeing with me. Not the greatest. That's what yeah, like I said, it could be a lot worse. But yet, a lot of people aren't given some of these shows that you ask them about, say, Strange New Worlds, they'll say the continuity. Well, every show has had its continuity. Held even some of the shows had continuity within its show. Heaven forbid we pointed that out on quite a few their live streams and reviews of the continuity issues. Now, I'm not saying they're not good stories, but why isn't Strange New Worlds getting the same benefit as, say, Enterprise got or TNG's gotten? Heaven forbid TNG had quite a few continuity errors in there, even within its own show. And finally, someone I could bounce off of. How's it going, Gap?
Going good, except for when hopefully I don't disconnect myself. Something just showed up: comment settings and cancel. Okay, never mind. Okay, hello,
Yeah.
Gorilla. Yeah, I can't comment. Hey, LDG, I can't comment on but 2 seasons of Discovery, 1 season of Picard. I haven't seen Strange New Worlds, and I actually want to see it regardless of what people say because I like Captain Pike.
Yeah, and see, that's the one thing there's so there with Captain Pike. They had to recast the actor. If they're going to bring back the character, which lots of shows done this, or they brought back characters and all that, but they couldn't get the original actor because he's dead.
Yeah, but I gotta stop doing one thing. I gotta stop listening to these streams that I watch that are so trashing everything. I've got to watch them and make up my mind. Like, now this is gonna be a hoo-hoo for some people, even maybe on the playback. But I liked Wheel of Time. They trashed the hoo-hoo out of that one, and I actually liked it.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
see, I really like Strange New Worlds, but it seems like it gets a lot of trash too. I can understand why people might not like it, no, but personally, my personal thing, yeah, you could probably bring back the 60s era Enterprise, but it's not gonna fly with today's crowd.
right.
And,
Hey,
and hey there, Yvette, welcome.
yeah. So I I got for Christmas by a friend sent me all the current seasons of Discovery because she thought, well, I know it's Star Trek. I haven't seen it. I've heard the hoopla. Make up your own mind. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So, but yeah, what was the topic of the show?
Why we give the old shows, like for example, TOS, TNG, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise. Why on some episodes we can point something something out in the episode and go, oh, I can let that pass because I love that episode. But like the newer shows do not get the same courtesy.
I think it's because of the mindset of today. But then, it goes back to you really got to watch it and make up your own mind and not be part of the Borg collective that trashes something or listens to people trash something. I see what you're saying. I watch Star Trek, the original series, every night at 7 o'clock Central on Heroes and Icons. And some of it is like, whoa, if you think about the times, you're like, oh, well, wait a minute, that's kind of like, wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but I guess the only thing I could chalk it up to, like I said, would be like, okay, the mindset's different, and then it might be from the really super hardcore fans that give it a pass.
Yeah. Yeah. And welcome, Germ.
Oh, hey, Germ, and pop culture curator.
Yeah. Hey, pop culture.
Yeah, Yvette only watched first 3 episodes of Discovery. That was all the new Trek I wanted to see. I found it dark, boring, poorly written, and characters not believable as a professional crew. Yeah, the first season, I watched it. I watched it backwards.
Yeah.
I watched season 2 first.
Yeah.
Because everybody was like, Captain Pike, Captain Pike, Captain Pike. So I'm like, okay, let's see what led up to Captain Pike. I rolled my eyes. And then I was like, excuse me, you would not talk, in season 2 with the captain. You would not talk to even season 1. You would not talk to a captain that way. Chain of command, and it's like they went super dark on Starfleet, and Starfleet's supposed to be hopeful, and
well, you can't argue DS9 got pretty dark.
Well, yeah,
nowhere compared to New Trek.
Yeah,
compared
Starfleet was still what Starfleet was throughout the entire that era.
Yeah. And according to Yvette here, the old shows get a pass because back in the day they could write stories and a discussion.
Yeah, that's something that they suffer from a lot today. They get less of a pass because the overall writing quality is in the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No. Well, I was just gonna say, they've got the series, but like Star Trek, they've got series Bibles from how many series, and you can't take a time to at least pick the top episodes from every season and get a feel for it. I mean, it's like it's like the NutriBullet blender. It's like they threw a bunch of ideas in there, blend it out, spit it out, and then, okay, there's our story.
Yeah. And Pleasant Valley Picker says a lot of the older shows are just well written, and a lot of the new ones aren't well written. I'm pretty sure there's quite old shows that weren't quite well written. And hey there, Brandon Looney Tunes, welcome. And LDG says I couldn't give TOS a pass, only to pass over it.
I like all the agenda pushing stuff that they're doing today. Nobody has gone back in Hollywood and apparently looked at the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, because, I see a lot of diverse stuff from the past. I mean, like
they incorporated it well.
Yeah. And
it wasn't the sole focus of an entire episode.
No, it was just matter.
Well, there was a couple of TNG episodes I could point out like that. There's that one there with they go to that planet. They're in, everybody's non-binary. You know, there's no sexes, and then when one person decided that they were a specific sex, they got correction therapy. That was
Yeah.
and Riker was trying to hump her, or it, or they, or whatever the pronouns were.
Oh God, yeah, that episode when the non-binary was trying to decide which one she wanted to be, right, or which one they wanted to be.
Yeah, but the whole planet was a single sex.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, seahorses have both sex in them, so you know, but the only thing I'm not sure about on Strange New Worlds when I watch it, I haven't watched it yet, is everybody was complaining about there's not enough men on the bridge. You know, so are you trying to wipe out, you know, all the male I guess they're still trying to wipe out all the male influences and everything on all the shows, but I didn't watch Lord of the Rings of Power because I watched the movies and I didn't want to ruin. I knew they were going to mess it up.
Well, I didn't watch
I
Lord
tried.
There's two reasons I didn't watch Lord of the Rings. One was I tried watching the first episode like 4 times. I kept falling asleep during it. Then it turns out that the producers or the creators of the show, they were saying that anybody who didn't like the show was like racist, homophobic, and all that stuff. I was like, so if I don't watch it, I guess I can't hate it. So therefore, I couldn't be a racist homophobe or whatever it was they said.
And Yvette says, name a new show that's well written, that's not a reboot, etc., with a great writing. Reacher on Amazon Prime.
Reacher is okay, but technically a reboot.
Well, yeah, but you know, I mean, it's really good. I haven't I watched the other Tom Cruise Reacher stuff, but I like the TV show better. It was just, to me, it was well written, and if it's entertaining to me, and I go, oh gosh, it's time, you know, the thing pops up and goes next episode. To me, I consider it really good if I'm entertaining. Maybe, you know, if I watched it 100 times like TOS, I could take it apart, but I don't go that deep on it. And, you know, I'm smart enough to realize when they're trying to shove stuff down our throat. And some of the stuff I've watched, I'm like, you know what? No, thanks. You know, and I purposely wait on the new stuff for 2 or 3 weeks so they don't get the initial ratings on it. And then I decide what I'm going to do. Usually I'm late to the party. You know, like I haven't watched The Boys or any of that stuff yet. And I don't know if there's anything other than Reacher season 2 that I'm looking forward to that's coming out. And then I know what you might say, Resolute, but I'm looking forward to season 2, Wheel of Time.
I've never even heard of Wheel of Time before the Amazon thing came out. I
Yeah.
just didn't care about it.
Yeah, Robert Jordan's books, they are excellent. And of course, 99% of the time, the books are way better than the show. Yes. Okay. Yeah, they took liberties, but it was entertaining. And I could see how people would say, you know, it's women centric and, you know, blah, blah, blah. But it didn't bother me like some of the other shows that were just throwing it in your face, you know. So
yeah, there's some new stuff that, like with like Willow and Avatar, I never liked the original one, so I never even went to those. This Way of the Water, don't give a shit about it. Hope it fails because I hate James Cameron, but as far as the movie itself goes, couldn't give a shit.
yeah,
And the original Willow, I didn't even see that until I was like 10, 12, and I hated it then. And why go back to a sequel of something that you hated?
That's true. I did try to watch the first Avatar 2 weeks ago. I made it 35 minutes because I was kind of like thinking in the back of my head hours and hours, even though I could take a break. I'm like, and then I'm like, I don't. You're lucky I got 35 minutes into
Hey,
it.
I kind of like that Avatar there, but I also got to see it in theaters.
Yeah, you beat me by about 15 minutes trying to rewatch that.
Yeah.
I was just at the point where I'm like, okay, maybe you should have just been 90 minutes, not 3 hours. And I'm like, there's no way I could make it through. And, like somebody mentioned on one of the streams, like these 3-hour damn movies, they need to bring back the intermission thing where you can go to the bathroom, go outside, come back in.
Or just not come back at all.
Yeah, or not come back at all. Exactly.
Yeah.
Better Call Saul, a pop culture curator. Yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to catch up here quick on the chat. Pleasant Valley Picker says, still, I could see even older shows had weak episodes. Oh, yeah. I can name a few weak episodes of older shows. Darren said, and welcome to the channel, Darren. I haven't seen you in the chat before. And welcome to the panel, Pop Culture there.
Hello, guys. How are you doing there?
Doing good. Just catching up here on the chat right now.
Go for it.
Secret Hideout Trek is so far from what they had been before in terms of general concept alone. They don't even use nautical terminology on Discovery. Brace, brace, brace. Aye is for pirates. I can see your point there. Yeah, that's good. And congratulations on your 971 there, Brandon. Pleasant Valley Picker says, for example, as much as I love TOS, it does have a handful of awful episodes. Yes, it does. We don't give old shows a pass. They don't need a pass. They're just better. No, but I've heard that what brought this up is I've heard this on quite a few streams there, Darren, is like you can point something out in an old episode and then go, well, I can give that a pass because I love this episode. But the newer shows weren't getting the same courtesy as in that.
A lot of it is per capita.
Yeah, I think we covered this one. Name the new show that's and not a reboot is great writing. Okay, I think we covered that one. Not all old shows are great, obviously, but the ones that are generally a consistent high quality. Well, I think Breaking Bad is well written, although it may not be the new show now. I've never seen Breaking Bad.
You should. I think another way of gauging a good or a bad.
If you like Better Call Saul, you like Breaking Bad.
I haven't watched Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul. Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense without it. But I think another difference is in the old days, the shows did not have 2 or 3 seasons to finally start getting better. They would have been canceled within days, if not weeks, if they started out like a lot of the shows do now. Look how many versions of Star Trek people say, well, yeah, you need to check out Voyager or whatever, or Enterprise, but it doesn't really get good till the 3rd or 4th season. There's your indication something's wrong.
Yeah. Well, most of those, they actually, like TNG, people rail against the first season of TNG. They're just comparing that to the rest of TNG. The first season of TNG is pretty good. And it's actually more like TOS than any of the other 6 seasons of TNG.
Well, that's the point. Your point of view is subjective, right? Your opinion. Some people think it's better, some think it's worse. It depends on the person.
Yeah, but
yeah, I agree with that.
If you compare it to like the first season of fucking Discovery and then the rest of it, it's up. TNG is up there, and then like Discovery is starting off way below where any other Star Trek starts out in quality of writing, quality of acting, promotional.
Oh, I'm not denying that. Yeah, I agree. When it comes to new Trek, right, it's all crap. But I'm saying, remember now, I'm just saying there are some Trek shows that people consider, quote, classics that took 2 or 3 years to get off the ground. And I don't think that's acceptable. I think that's called making excuses. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think that whole getting off the ground thing is overblown. They're just comparing it to the heights that the series actually reached when it hit its stride, but they start off very, very well.
Yeah, but what about like Voyager, Enterprise, or DS9? You know, when I ask people about those, they say, "Well, they start getting better in season 2, 3, 4," and I hear all that garbage.
That's
like,
all retrospect. When they came out, people weren't hating on them. They had nitpicks like with TNG and DS9. Oh, this is a little different. It's on a space station. It's not going to be as exploratory and whatnot, but they still liked the show.
Well, I think I don't know. I could be wrong, but when I was attending the Star Trek conventions, it was when TOS. It was the TOS cast, and I was there at the conventions when they introduced the TNG show that it was in conception and then it was in production. And I followed it through to where it premiered, and I went through a couple of conventions after that and met a few of the people from TNG. But it seemed like it could have been a lot better. I thought it was weak. And I think that the only reason why it kept getting the pass was because it was Star Trek, and they knew it doesn't matter, just shoot it, and it'll end up going into syndication anyway.
It started off in syndication.
No, but I'm saying we're just by repeats. They'll say just shoot enough episodes where it can be shown repeats, which is usually like 4 or 5 seasons.
TNG, DS9. I'm not sure about Voyager. I think that was direct to UPN, but DS9 and TNG, their entire run was in syndication.
Right, because they were originally trying to create a Paramount network.
And that's where Voyager came in when they got the Paramount network.
But I'm just saying I'll give you an example. Like, let's say TNG. If that was not on the independent network, because the networks that they put it out on, I remember at the time, they were all the third-party network stations that we were all had. It wasn't the big 3 networks or the big 4 with Fox. It was the independent stations that were showing TNG. And that was the only thing
Paramount
they had.
Have their own network.
Right, and that was the only thing they had, so there was no competition. But I'm saying, imagine if it came out on CBS, ABC, or NBC, it wouldn't have lasted 1 season with the quality of the shows the way they were. When like with TOS, when it came out and it premiered, it had to go against the big boys on a big network, and it was either sink or swim right from the beginning. They didn't have a season or maybe 2 to get better. They would have been canceled.
That would actually be easier for them to succeed. Being on the smaller channels like the Fox affiliates, they're going to get less attention. Thus, Fox would be their affiliate partners.
Well, it wasn't Fox.
Or quickly to
Fox
dump
at that time. It wasn't on Fox. It wasn't on. They weren't. TNG was not on Fox. It was on other independent stations.
Fox was the primary affiliate for the syndication in TNG and DS9 throughout most of the country that actually had Fox, which was at the time just under 2/3 of the country.
We had Fox, and it wasn't on there. I remember Married with Children and all that was on there, but there was a network at the time called UPN that was struggling, United Paramount Network, and that's where TNG was.
Yeah, and Buffy and...
You guys don't remember UPN?
I do.
I remember UPN. That didn't come out till like 1995, 1994.
I don't know. I remember Star Trek being the flagship on that show.
Yeah.
Voyager was the flagship for when UPN went national. They had that.
But basically, if you're saying
all these black comedies,
right? But if you're saying
Voyager.
The older shows, like let's say, I don't know, 50s, 60s, 70s, if you're saying that they were lackadaisical and they could take a season 2 to get better and they would have stayed on the air anyway, that's definitely not true. The shows would have been canceled fast. There was too much competition if you're on a network television.
And the early seasons of the stuff in TNG, they weren't lackadaisical in the first couple of seasons. People remembering it that way are remembering it wrong.
Even people that are fans of TNG agree that generally the first season. In fact, I don't necessarily share the opinion, but most people blame the first season on Gene Roddenberry like it was all entirely his fault. That's TNG fans that say that.
I'm saying that's a little bit of altering history on their part.
Well, a lot of people think that he came up with Star Trek on his own, and every idea was his too, and they're very adamant about that. They don't want to be convinced otherwise. They don't understand that Star Trek was a conglomeration of many people coming together on a lot of ideas, and he decided to take all the credit for everything.
Yeah, that's true. It was a whole bunch of people involved. I just think like when you're going to do something like Star Trek and you have, TOS, TNG established, you should be able to know right out the gate how your first season's going to take off. You should make it cohesive. You should know by now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's a question for you guys. Like, you guys like TNG, but to be honest, let's say TNG. How long would you say it took the actors to settle into their characters?
Ooh, good question.
Couple episodes.
I've heard people say 2 or 3 seasons.
They're remembering it wrong. That's when they got really good. They started off very good.
And to me, it just seemed like the whole first season they were all very awkward.
Yeah, and I liked Voyager. I really liked Voyager. I did think after it got in the middle of its run that I was sort of having Starfleet fatigue or Star Trek fatigue because, wasn't it Brana Braga or whatever?
Yes, Brandon Braga and the other guy. Yes.
Yeah.
Berman.
Berman, that's it. Berman and Braga.
Yeah.
Berman gets way too much credit for, he did all this great Star Trek. No, he did a lot of Voyager, and a lot of Voyager pretty much sucked. You're just showing up those last 3 seasons for 7 of 9's chest.
Hello, PvP. Welcome.
Well, that's a good point to enter the conversation. 7 of 9's chest.
Yeah, welcome PvP. This will be a good chance to catch up here on the chat here. You said, Yvette said, well, Supernatural was awesome.
I like Supernatural, especially like the first 5 seasons. I think that's when you had the original creator and showrunner. I think he ran it for the first 5 years, and then I guess it got handed over to other folks because I think he only envisioned it to be a 5-year series. So I watched it up till about season 7 or 8. It still seemed pretty good, but I haven't seen the later seasons.
I won't watch it unless somebody gifts me the entire series. I missed it.
It's a long series. It's 12 seasons or 15 seasons or some ridiculous high number.
They use that to prop up the channel for about 5 years there.
It's probably the only good show they had.
Are you talking about Supernatural?
Yeah.
Was
after the merger,
was the show that good to justify that many seasons?
No.
I don't know about later years.
They had nothing else. Is the only thing keeping them from complete destruction.
Yeah, I only saw it up to like season 7 or 8, somewhere around there, and then my local channel stopped showing it, so I didn't get around to ever accessing any further seasons. I heard it probably did decrease in quality a bit as it went on. I mean, most shows do, right? And when you're going like 15 years, it was a long, long run. It's bound to start to, get redundant and repetitious at a certain point. So,
yeah.
But it had some really good characters and storylines, I thought. And the 2 brothers were interesting central characters. So I thought it was an entertaining show.
I have no comment. I haven't seen it, so I won't.
It's definitely worth watching, especially, as I say, the first 5 seasons or so are probably the strongest.
So do you guys know anything that's coming out that, you're looking forward to? I don't even know if there's anything good coming out TV season wise.
For me, nothing. Not on TV. Nope.
I can't think of anything.
Not overly.
Lower Decks.
Quantum Leap reboot is doing better than I thought it would. They got approved for a 2nd season.
I couldn't. I think I watched the first 5 minutes of that, and I couldn't stand anymore.
What?
About halfway through the first season,
Quantum Leap reboot.
They shifted. They're going on one path, and then I think they got a new showrunner, and now they're trying something else. And the quality has been improving since their Halloween episode.
Well, let me say that it is NBC, and if they make it to season 2, that's going to be it, because NBC seems to have this 1 to 2 seasons. Let's just cut it we're done.
That's what Netflix is doing.
Yeah,
But
and then
Netflix, their shows are failing after 2 seasons.
yeah,
but some
'cause
of
I
them they're
know
canceling even though they're doing well. Like Cobra Kai was doing really good. It was topping the ratings, but they canceled after the third. Well, with the last season, what was it? The third, I think.
5. It's 5 seasons, right?
Yeah.
Could be
You're at
5. Could be 5, but it was top of the ratings the last season.
Oh, that's the
But
one show that sounds like it's good is Cobra Kai, which I haven't
it
seen, so I
was
can't comment.
to the
but
very end. Yeah, it actually
Yeah.
Did
never
they
turned
cancel
woke.
that?
people seem to
Yeah.
really like that show. So
But yeah,
Yeah.
it was consistently good. It never turned woke. It never needed to jump the shark. The stories were not completely repetitive. It actually had a beginning and an ending. It was like, yeah, it was actually a breath of fresh air.
well, that
Yeah.
helps.
Sad.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe they only planned for 5 seasons there because, like, I know they stopped like TNG, DS9, and Voyager after 7 seasons because they didn't want to. They figured that's the cutoff limit there. They probably only planned for 5 seasons.
So
Yeah,
you're
I
saying
think
that when those series ended, they were high in the ratings?
Yeah.
TNG
Yeah.
was. I think it went out with a
TNG
bang in
was
the
in
finale.
the top 5,
No,
top
I think
10
no.
nationwide.
I think the only reason why TNG went off the air is because the TOS cast stopped making movies, so TNG automatically got that bump into the movies, so that's why they canceled TNG.
I think there wasn't there also something about they'd have to pay the cast more money
Yeah,
after the 7th season, that they'd get a
yeah,
pay hike,
Yeah.
and I think that was another big reason.
Yeah, they were already making a lot by that point.
Yeah.
and Voyager and Enterprise were struggling on their last. I think Voyager was struggling on their last 2 seasons, but they wanted to go to 7. And I
Yeah.
think when it came to Enterprise, it was definitely struggling. I really liked season 3 of Enterprise, and then they kind of went off the rail in season 4, and the ratings dropped. And then they're like, you know what, we can't go to 7. Shit. And I wish they had stayed on because season 3 was so damn exciting. I was like, wow, I can't wait for season 4. And then
They always had problems,
Yeah.
both with the studio, the writers, but primarily the studio. UPN was, but there was a reason they're in the middle of failing at the time.
Yeah, and now they don't cancel things right away because they want to push their agenda or think they're keeping eyeballs on their episodes. Because, like, I liked the TV show Debris that was on NBC, and it was from the showrunner of Fringe, and it averaged 5 million a week viewership. And they canceled it after 13 episodes, and that was doing way better than some of the other garbage that they were. All right, we'll give them a season 3, and just like Killjoys went to season 5, they should have gave Dark Matter on Sci-Fi to season 5, even though it was in the mid-range on the ratings, and Killjoys was less on the ratings. But for some reason, all this it's all the back door behind the stuff. If you got a successful show, just grow it and let it go as far as you can take it until it gets too expensive, and then cut it. But give them time to wrap it up or something.
That's the problem. They don't give shows a chance a lot of the time. Like, I mean, the classic example comes to mind for me would be Firefly. I mean, I know maybe it didn't get big ratings, but that was a lot of the Fox network's fault because they keep preempting it.
Fox
They'd move
always
it
Yeah,
around
but
and
didn't
put it on Friday night. And
they aired episodes out of order.
oh, that was
well.
the
That's
biggest,
because before it ever aired, it was canceled because they were, quite frankly, they had this huge hard-on for X-Files, but X-Files had slowly and steadily been decreasing in popularity the last 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
X-Files kind of winding down by then.
X-Files. Let me ask you guys, because I just interestingly enough, because I didn't watch it when it first ran, but now I'm just now starting to watch it. I'm in the first season. So about what season would you guys say it went downhill?
The first 5 are the best,
never went uphill.
in my opinion.
The first 5.
Well, the first 5 were actually produced.
Well, because I've gotten about episode 8 of the first season, and it's like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 5, maybe a 6. I don't understand the hype, so I'm hoping it gets better.
Give it a chance. Give it a chance.
Yeah.
It gets better.
Yeah.
Personally, the only episodes of X-Files I ever liked were the ones David Duchovny made, and that's because they were pretty outside the box.
Yeah, I
Thing
know
is-
she directed one of the episodes that I watched.
Yeah.
Thing is,
Yeah.
there's two types of X Files episodes. There's the ones that go with the running storyline of the aliens' presence, on Earth, and then there's the standalone kind
Monster of
of
the Week.
episodes. Yeah, basically the ones that you can kind of watch out of order and it doesn't really matter. So you've
Yeah.
got these two different things going on within the series, but it does get better. I mean, there's some great episodes. What was the one? Clyde Bruckman's Final Repose. That's somewhere in the first few seasons, I think, and that was a great episode. It actually, I forget the actor, but he's well known, and he actually
Is that the
won
one
an
with
Emmy
Peter
Award.
Boyle?
Peter Boyle, that's the guy, I think.
Yeah, that's the episode I keep hearing about. I need to just go
Oh.
straight to that one episode and watch it. I love Peter Boyle.
Well,
Yeah.
you might want to get to know the Scully and Mulder a little bit first, but
Uh,
but it's a classic. It blew my mind the first time I saw it. It's
and
one
I
of
heard
those
Darren McGavin's in
legendary-
one episode. I want to check that out too.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, he
the
was, yeah.
the Night Stalker is the whole show that inspired the X Files.
Yeah, just pick and choose your episodes of X Files. There's no one season that's, in my opinion, any really
Right.
good.
Right, but going into it, like I said, I haven't seen any of them. I don't know which one's good or bad until I start watching it. Unfortunately.
I just watch it in order. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't take that long to watch the first 5
Well, I
seasons
start watching
anyway,
it,
really,
and then I'll
if you
start
binge
skipping it.
watch.
Yeah, I'll watch them, and I can tell when I get my trigger finger, I start hitting fast forward, and I know, okay, I better not watch this one then.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, going back to your Firefly thing there, someone
Sure.
told me that the reason they canceled it was because there's the one character was portrayed pretty much as a hooker. Oh wait, she is high end, so she'd be an escort.
Escort. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Her. I know her. I know her.
That's one
Yeah.
of the reasons that Fox wasn't too happy.
Well,
Yeah.
They really weren't happy with how much the show cost.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Which
the show
was
looked
one
great.
reason they kept failing with a lot of sci-fi projects. They're a little bit more expensive than a lot of the stuff they were used to because they were used to dirt cheap production,
You know, it was funny
and
though.
sci-fi doesn't tend to be dirt cheap production.
Yeah, they actually. I remember before that they had Dark Angel on for 2 seasons,
yeah,
and I really enjoyed that show. I thought season 2 it's kind of started to take off. I thought it was going somewhere. Then they had a nice cliffhanger ending in season 2 and canceled it.
Yeah.
and,
They
that,
did
and the
hang
Pretty
reason
much
they
the same
gave,
thing to Space Above and Beyond after one season.
So they
Yeah.
canceled it on a cliffhanger.
yeah, they had a big action-packed cliffhanger at the end of season 2. Wham, bam, lots of action, and then it was like, bye.
That's funny because I'm not definitely far from being a fan of the show. In fact, I hated the show Alf, but I heard it ended on a cliffhanger where they sent him to his death to his home planet.
Oh gosh, I never saw that.
Alf,
I think I only watched maybe the first couple seasons of Elf, and then I lost interest after a while.
I never saw
The
what
final
people like.
episode was he's on his way home, but then the military swoops in.
Right,
and
and
naps
the
him.
whole, but apparently the whole running theme of the show is he didn't want the military to get their hands on where they, he'd be an experiment. But
Yeah.
that's where the
They
show
did
ended.
make
So
2 movies.
Wow.
I believe 2 movies for Alf.
I
Yeah,
can't
they
believe
did
that
make-
idea
Got away
got
from
past.
the military.
Yeah, I was always flabbergasted that show got past season 1. I don't understand the concept, but people liked it. I know that.
No, what
It is a
what year
comedy
was
with
that?
the
Was that what 90s?
80s.
80s. Well, 80s. That kind of
80s.
explains it.
Well,
there's a lot of kind of mediocre stuff in the 80s, if I
There-
remember.
Yeah, mid to late 80s. So
There-
Yeah, that sounds
were-
about right.
They're going to reboot Alf.
Oh,
But for the
Well, actually-
modern age, probably I'm imagining. So he'll probably be all hip and everything, right?
yeah.
I don't know if Lord or woke, one or the other.
Right.
I heard they're actually. I saw online this past week. Since the holidays, I had some more time, and I noticed that they're rebooting Firefly apparently, or they're trying to.
Yeah,
And
Lord, yeah.
apparently, it's going to be on the Disney Channel, and it's going to be PG. And Nora's not even going to be a character in the show anymore.
What was the original
it's
one they
just
did?
one of the many turds they're throwing at the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah, they're
What
going
was
to try and reboot the original Firefly, which I
What
think is
was the original
horrifying.
rating? What was the rating on the original?
Oh, it got terrible ratings because
No, I mean you said you said PG on the new one. I'm saying what was?
Oh, the
that
original
rating?
one would have been probably maybe not R, but close to it. I
14?
mean, there was a lot of violence, blood,
NC-17.
sex. There was
TV
something like, there was
14.
some sex. There was a
TV
bit of sex.
14.
Yeah, Yeah, I can think of a few scenes where people were getting it on.
What
So
network
yeah,
was it on?
it wasn't PG.
It was
That's
on
for sure.
Fox.
Fox.
Yeah, it
Well,
was on
Yeah.
Fox, and they botched it. They showed
They
showed the
botched
pilot
everything.
episode last. They showed the
That's
pilot last.
Have you guys heard that they're bringing back Married with Children, an animated version with the original cast?
say
I
that
didn't hear.
Cast?
I didn't hear it was going
Animated.
to.
Oh.
I didn't hear it was going to be animated.
anime.
Yes.
Well, the
Why?
original cast is probably
That's
so
mainly
old, they have
because
to be-
Ed O'Neill and
Right. They're all
her
ancient.
name, Kelly
they're probably
Bundy.
like 80 by now.
Yeah,
Ed
they're all
O'Neill's
too
really
old.
close,
But,
yeah.
but I mean, of all shows, can you imagine like that one is not going to be woke? It's like, come on. I mean, that's
That must be the worst show to choose for something that for these days. Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
So incorrect.
Well,
That's what it's going to be.
Disney
It's going to
doesn't
be
know what
Kelly.
to do with the properties.
Right. What it'll be, I mean, it's obvious we can see it, is Al and Peg will be grandparents. Kelly and Bud will have kids, and those kids are going to teach those parents what to do and how they don't need that, and they don't need white men, and they don't need this and that.
And the
Right.
kids
That's
will
what
be
it'll
woke. Yeah.
Their kids will be girls, to be exact.
Yeah.
It'll be like Wednesday. I'll put it that way.
Oh, jeez.
That show,
Hey,
you guys heard that it's actually number one, and I haven't seen
Really?
That's one of the worst shows I've seen in years. I watched the first episode on LDG's channel, and it's like, oh my god, and people like that. Jeez.
So that's the Addams Family spinoff, is it?
But except with 2% Adam's Family and 98% Wednesday,
Oh, jeez. Well, I haven't heard much about it.
and
I
a
haven't
short
even heard-
lurch.
I
Lurch
haven't
is
even
short.
heard, I haven't even heard Critical Drinker, or Overlord doing any reviews on it. Maybe it's that bad they're just ignoring it.
I don't know.
Oh, but did you hear that they rebooted Night Court apparently? Because I'm sure I saw an article.
Yeah, I
about
think it's
the
supposed to
reboot.
have one or two of the original cast that aren't dead yet.
Yeah, and I think the judge is a woman now, of course.
Yeah, because what's his name is dead.
Yeah, well, probably
Most
half
of
of them
them
are
are
dead
dead.
by now. Yeah.
Most of them. I think the only one left alive is that big tall guy, Richard Mull, whatever.
Oh, yeah. What's
I'm
his
not even
Yeah,
sure
Rick-
he's alive.
Brent Spiner's
Larroquette. That's it.
But
John
no.
Larroquette. That's what I was thinking.
No,
He's still
but-
alive.
Brent Spiner's still alive.
Was he on it?
He wasn't in Night Court.
And which one
Not
was
as-
he in?
Not as a regular, anyway. Maybe a guest star.
TNG.
Yeah.
No. Brent Spiner was on some court TV show
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
I don't
Because
know.
because there was all kinds of crap about it in a lot of chats.
But I think John
Hmm.
Larroquette was on Night Court, and I think he's still alive.
Yeah, he played. What was his? Dan Fielding.
I never
He
watched
was-
it, but yeah, I think
He,
he was on
it
it.
was hilarious. He was like such a sexist. I mean, he really was, a toxic male.
Oh,
'Cause he
that's
was
what they'll
always
do to
hitting
that.
on he'd hit on everything with a skirt. It was hilarious. But he
I
was
mean-
kind of a lovable character too, right?
They're not going to be able to make him that way now. Sometimes they should just leave stuff.
Oh,
alone.
they will. They'll
Oh,
start off with that,
no.
but then they'll have women immediately put him in his place. I mean,
Yeah,
he'll be
they'll
Me
ruin it.
Too'd immediately. It'll start with him being Me Too'd. They Me
Yeah.
Too'd Kermit the Frog.
I don't
Yeah.
understand why they even reboot something like Night Court. It just I
Because
can't
they
see
can't
it.
come up with any new
I can't
ideas.
see
is
it
what
working
it
in
is.
any way.
Yeah,
Hey,
they can't come up with any original ideas.
What about the TV show Soap? There's no way in hell they could reboot that.
Nope.
I'm surprised they don't try though.
I'm surprised they're rebooting Married with Children.
Yeah.
No, it's a continuation. That's why they're having the original cast, according to them.
But animated, right?
Animated, yes.
So if it's a cartoon, maybe they'll just tone it down to PG.
Have you guys? Here's a little bit of trivia. Did you guys know that when Married with Children was out, it was very popular, obviously, but
Oh, it was a big hit.
right. It was
Yeah.
shown in Russia, and it was so big in Russia. Russia started making their own Married with Children. When our Married with Children went off the air, they continued making theirs, and it's been on the air still.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a Russian version. I've watched episodes of it on YouTube.
Oh wow. So they got English dubs on it, or
No, it's
Subtitles?
all in Russian, but they have
Oh.
English subtitles so you can read it while you're watching
Okay.
the show.
See that draw me right out because I don't want to read while I'm watching something. That's how you
Oh, I
miss a
do.
bunch of stuff.
oh, I don't mind subtitles. I
And
love
stuff-
foreign
And
films.
stuff,
actually.
a lot of stuff doesn't translate well. A lot of
Well, it
jokes
doesn't,
don't
but I
translate.
like subtitles because there's a lot of movies out there that are better than the American English version. There's a lot of
Yeah,
movies that
sometimes
are
when they
subtitles that are
dub it-
fantastic,
Yeah, when they dub it, they can make it even worse.
but sometimes they can make it better.
Well, yeah, it all depends. I prefer
it's
the
good if you-
original subtitles. So.
Gorilla, you were right. Brent Spiner was on Night Court, but is only recurring.
Okay,
He's
that's
in-
what.
Recurring. Oh.
About a half dozen episodes.
Wow, I never
Gotcha.
didn't realize that.
I thought he was the main. I thought he was the main person.
Is there anybody here on this panel besides me who's seen the original Lost in Space and the new one?
Oh,
I
I've seen the
new one.
original, not the new
I've
one.
seen the original. I think the first season and a half of the new one.
What'd you think about the new one? Because I really
The
hated
new one was
the new one.
not too great.
Yeah,
I
really
actually
hated
like
the
the
new one.
1998 movie better than the Netflix series.
Well, that I agree. Even though the '98 movie was terrible, right? The new series was even worse.
Well-
Thank you, Akiva Goldsman, you MF.
it didn't even have the spirit in the new show. You know, I can see having something updated, but you got to have the spirit of the previous show. And it was kind of like I was irritated most of the time on the new.
Yeah, it
Well,
would have made more sense if they didn't connect it to the franchise.
Well,
If
it's
it
not
was
just
its own thing, it would have made more sense.
right, because the first thing I noticed while trying to watch the new one was feminist agenda is the first thing I saw all over the show. Feminist agenda, the men were idiots, the men were incompetent, the men were stupid. The little girl who's like 8 years old is a master physician who knows everything.
Oh yeah,
And my mind was blown on how bad it was, on how horrible
Mm.
it was. And it has 5 Mary Sues at least, I think, that I can count of in
jeez.
that one show.
So what they
And-
do with Dr. Smith? Did they make Dr.
Oh, it's a
Smith
woman.
a woman?
Of
Yeah,
course, it's a woman.
Of course.
And guess what?
Uh-huh.
And she's good at heart. Isn't that nice?
Oh, jeez.
Doesn't that just give one a
That
hug?
totally
Huh?
destroys
Well,
the
she
whole
wasn't
concept.
even really Dr. Smith, as I recall.
No,
she killed somebody.
Wait, Billy Mooney, who played Will Robinson in the original series, played Dr. Smith in the first episode of this new Lost in Space. She steals his identity and becomes Dr. Smith.
yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
And by the way, pissed on him for taking that role. And I told him that on Facebook too.
Yeah, kind of a
Well,
simple
Mooney
move. Eh?
sort of needs some cash lately.
Oh,
The
no, that I'm not
original
going to
run, he
deny.
didn't get a lot of money, and he
Okay.
sort of blew anything
Well,
he got off of Babylon 5.
Well, he should get some royalties from Babylon 5. Wasn't he a reoccurring character? I didn't watch it, but was he a
Yeah,
recurring
He was
character?
main cast character.
Well, then he
But
should
he
get
wasn't
some
too wise with his,
royalties.
he gets royalties, but he ain't great with money, apparently.
I don't think he's living pretty high off the hog. He's got a mansion in L.A. Moomy Mansion is what he calls it, in fact.
Well, you know, some of the actors don't really get. I know one actor from Stargate. He was only on there for one season, but he gets only enough for a tank of gas here and there. And you know, some of them, I guess it's whatever they negotiate in their contract. But you got to have a few hit series, and it's better if you end up writing an episode or producing or executive producing, because you're going to get a crap load of residuals.
Right. It's the bigger role you have in the show, right? Be it on camera or off, right? The bigger role you have, bigger hand in it, the more money you're going to make.
Yeah.
By the way, there's a YouTuber out there that I watch on a regular basis. His name is Tom Willett. He gets royalty from his 2 times on the Gong Show.
Yeah. And all right, just 1 second. Welcome, Skogla Joe Toon. Cheers to you also. All right,
And-
that's
Praise to you, Gorillas, for saying his name, because I couldn't say it.
Good to see
he's
you,
corrected.
Skogly.
He's corrected me a couple of times in Pop Culture's chat.
Good to see you, Skogly.
Oh, Scobly. Okay. Hi.
So I another question. I'm going to kind of cover this later too in my stream later. I'm hoping to have a stream because I finally passed a 100 sub mark and I haven't had a chance to have any kind of celebration.
Well, congratulations.
Oh well, thank you. And tonight
Congrats.
usually would be I would usually do my Star Trek TAS review at 6, but Jill's out of town, so we're postponing till next week. So I thought maybe I'll do that, and I'll have maybe a stream in its place today. My rumblings from the lab with an open mic. But the subject I want to talk about is I had a stream last week. Now this is a stream the topic that I had back then was Superman last week, because this is when the news came out right at that point is when James Gunn announced that he was going to. This is when everybody thought that Henry Cavill was going to be Superman still. And before Black Adam, they found out it was being canceled. And what was funny is everybody was praising James Gunn on how wonderful he is. Oh my God, James Gunn, right? He's going to make the best Superman. He's going to make the best this, the best that. And then as soon as a news came out that he got rid of Cavill, suddenly now everybody turned their back on James Gunn. And oh, he's horrible. He's terrible. All he does now is keep his wife. And now he's going to fail. He's going to run DC into the ground. And I think it's very odd how people's opinion changed overnight based on that one actor.
Well,
it's the internet effect. It's like everybody wants to jump on any bandwagon that's getting
That's
popular.
exactly, yeah, that's my point. That's exactly what they do, right?
I
Even
was
in my
never really
stream,
sold on James Gunn.
yeah, even in my stream, I was like,
Not
what?
even on Guardians of the Galaxy. That's
Yeah.
more the casting they got just
Right, that's what I was saying.
accidentally right.
Like that's
But-
what I was saying on my stream. I was saying, why are people praising him like he's the second coming? I said, they don't even know what's going on yet for sure. I said it could change tomorrow, and lo and behold, it did.
yeah, but but they did Cavill wrong. So the studio should not have brought him in there in October to talk to him about coming
Well, I'm not
back.
denying that, right? They used him like a rag. I'll put it that
Well,
way.
they used him just to get attention, right, for the what was
For
coming
the
out,
the,
and then they didn't need
Black
him,
Adam
and
movie.
they tossed him away.
And do
Well,
we
they
need-
found out his little cameo didn't help that movie. That movie
No.
still tanked.
and
But if
do-
the movie's bad, it's not really his fault.
It is bad. I tried 4 times now to watch it, and I can't sit through it. It is a
Yikes.
horrible, horrible movie.
Yeah, but
okay,
if he only had a cameo,
Compare-
you can't blame him for
Yeah,
that.
it's
do we need
it's a
another?
little iffy, but it's an improvement, a marked improvement of what DC has produced.
Do-
Since Nolan, everything they've made has been god awful, just ran right into the ground.
Well, I've
But-
thought about it a few times. Every time I watch it, it's like, why does I hate this movie? Why is it I just can't tune in? And I think ultimately what it comes down to is I'm not watching Black Adam, I'm watching The Rock. Because he plays himself in every movie. It's still him, just in different clothes. And I think that's
Yeah.
why I can't do it.
But back to Superman. Do we need another young Superman origin story? I mean,
Do
You
we
know
need
what?
another any age Superman?
Well, here's the question. Here's the question. Do we want somebody new that doesn't have baggage?
no.
Only if they're a good actor
Only if they're
with a
excellent.
decent script. Yeah.
Well, because not only
That's
that, though,
what
you
Gunn
remember the
can't
studio.
do.
Well, not only that, but I think Warner Brothers is also trying to go the cheap and think if they get a new one, they won't have to pay a $20 million paycheck.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's their primary motivation.
I think what they're hoping, I know, like I said, I don't even know anything either. It's all speculation. But I'm hoping that they're going to try for the Christopher Reeve effect. Maybe they're going to find another Christopher Reeve out there. And
That's
I don't
what I
think
was
that's
thinking,
possible.
yeah.
I don't know.
Because Reeve was
Yeah,
an
they're not
unknown
gonna
too,
do
right?
that.
When he did the original back then. Yeah.
Now, in order to do that, obviously, they'll have to either reboot the origin story, because believe me, the origin story in Man of Steel was god awful, the worst one with Kevin Costner, crap. So
Mm.
they've got to redo the origin story for current modern day audiences, because most people don't like Man of Steel.
No, just
So-
forget the origin story altogether.
Well, what they could do
Jump
is
into the middle.
well, I don't. Yeah, well, they can, but they're not. I don't think it's going to be like Smallville. I think what they're going to do, but in my opinion, is
They're gonna
keep
do
it on
late
the
Smallville.
short, or do like a montage of a growing up
Well,
movie.
I hope they don't do like Smallville. It took 9 damn years for him to even put a costume on for a few seconds.
Yeah, that show sucked.
10 years.
Oh yeah, that's right. On the
They're
final,
gonna.
took
yeah.
that long.
I tuned out long before
I think
that.
they're targeting is like the time frame of the last 2 years of Smallville. That he is
They did say
20-ish.
no. They did say it's supposedly supposed to start when he arrives in Metropolis.
Well, that was way back.
So I'm guessing if it's right when he arrives in Metropolis, I had no problem with that. That's great and everything, but we just don't know about an origin story because I don't know if or when they're going to officially announce that.
You
But yes,
you said Man of Steel. That was I watched that again yesterday, and why did it was a horrible. Why did they go that direction with redoing Earth as Krypton? And,
bad writing, Snyder.
I
I
mean,
know there's a lot of fans of Snyder out there, but he's a horrible writer, in my opinion. I
Snyder
don't
didn't
like
write
him.
it.
I mean,
He
that
had an influence in it. Who directed it?
Snyder directed it.
Yeah, he had an influence.
They
on
had
it.
a panel writer.
Yeah, but I'm
writers.
sure it was a writer for hire. You know, the director sits down, they sit down as a team, and they say, "This is the story we want," right?
But I didn't appreciate them using the Krypton people like that. And
Oh, and
then
no Superman appreciated that. No Superman fan appreciated that. No Superman fan liked Zod. No Superman fan liked Pa Kent. I mean, we're all in agreement on that stuff.
yeah.
Lex Luthor. I mean, nobody likes Lex Luthor in those movies. Oh, good God.
Yeah, he's not supposed to be a skinny little shit that they got playing him.
Yeah, it's like a race to see how many loathsome characters are in that movie. Who's the most hateful? Well, it's hard to tell. There's so many. My dogs are telling me they need to go outside. I'll be right back, guys.
I will see you.
And I didn't like in Man of Steel most of it except for the flying sequences. I did not like the ending either, or when all the people were getting killed. That's not what Superman would be about. That many people died, and I mean that Krypton story. That was horrible.
That was That is like they had 3 different ideas for it, and just okay, this beginning is the best of the 3. We'll take that. Script B has the best middle. Script C has the best end. So let's just jam them together.
But didn't it remind you of like War of the Worlds ships, kind of? You know, it just reminded me of another sci-fi franchise, which I'm not sure which one I could compare it to, but the Krypton ships and the Terraform.
Yeah, the Terraformer they ripped off. I forget where it was from, but they just added stuff on to something. I can't remember what it was.
And then I watched the original Superman, and I'm like, oh, thank God, but at least we have that, you know.
Yeah, Reeve was really good in that first film. I thought it was a great interpretation of Superman, really.
Yeah, and then the Donner cut, I kind of like Superman 2, and then Superman 3, yeah, Superman 4, they just threw it together so quick, and the special effects were like, holy crap, that's garbage.
Yeah, it went down fast.
I thought for the longest time Superman 4 was made for TV.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Yeah, I liked the second film. I mean, it was basically more of an action film than anything else, but I thought it was pretty entertaining. I wasn't crazy about the third one with Richard Pryor. I think they turned it into way too much comedy for my liking. It wasn't really. I don't know. I didn't find it that entertaining, really. And 4 was horrible.
And that's what Trey James Gunn, you know, he's all into the humor. You know, is he going to jack humor in Superman?
He's going to try. Because if you look at his credits of actually writing, not directing, unfortunately, the standouts is he did the screenplay for the first Scooby-Doo, and he wrote the second Scooby-Doo live-action movies. Those are highlights of his writing career.
Oh, wow. Ruh-roh.
Yeah, the thing was the first Reeve movie. It's like it has humor in it, but it doesn't overdo it. When it does put it in, it generally works okay because they just kind of use it a little bit. They don't put it all through every scene like some stuff now. And Reeve was good at doing that kind of material. He could pull off a little bit of comedy occasionally in the film.
Yeah, and the way he emoted with his face, that's hard to me for actors and actresses to take something simple script and emote with it and make you feel with it with the music. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah. He could convey an emotion just with a facial expression. He was a really good actor, actually. It was kind of sad when he got injured. That was kind of a real bummer.
Yeah, and I went and watched all his other movies as much as I could find them, and he really is a very, very good actor. And I won't snap judge anything until I see it. That's why I'm going to actually watch Star Trek Strange New Worlds and give my own opinion on it. I mean, I am looking for something new to watch. that I can get into. You know, the whole purpose of entertainment is to you know, go into another world and just forget about stuff and be entertained and you know, maybe push some thought provoking things, but not shove it down your throat kind of thing.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
bottom line, it should be entertaining and enjoyable. I mean, if it's not enjoyable, then it's not really entertainment anymore. It's, it's just, the message, so to speak.
Yeah. I can't watch like Strange New Worlds just from like the trailers and the reviews I've seen. It's just so stomach turning. I can't even go as far as trying to sit through an episode.
Well, I'll let you know when I watch it, Resolute, because you know I think I might have missed out on a. Now I don't think I missed out on She-Hulk and Moon Knight or Loki. I don't even know any of those Disney properties that people really were like, you know, you've got to watch this, except for people have been pushing The Mandalorian on me, and they said avoid everything else because you'll be pissed.
Mandalorian was much higher quality than pretty much anything else Disney has done in the last 5 years.
And which show
If
was
not 10 years?
Yeah, really? Because I mean, there's just garbage. There's garbage.
Yeah. My problem with She-Hulk is you had all these people that were bitching about it, but like every single one said the exact same thing about it and literally showed the exact same like 24-second clip from it. Like there's a damn hive mind there. It's one thing if you don't like it, but it's like every single one was. It was like listening to the same thing over and over and
That's
over
the
again.
half of that is that was a very easy clip to get. I saw an episode and a half, I believe, of that, or one episode. The CGI is god awful. It's like they forgot to finish it up.
Well, I wasn't talking about the CGI. They were talking about when she's talking about how she's afraid every time she goes out and being catcalled and all that. That's the only clip I've ever seen from the Phantom Menace. There was she bitching about
Really?
being catcalled.
I saw
Excuse
that
me.
at the first episode reviews. I saw them pull clips from pretty much every episode.
But didn't she sleep with a lot of men in the show?
One episode she slept with. I think she's up to like 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you're going to be that way
Wow.
about it?
Douchebag, one other, and then Daredevil.
She slept with Daredevil?
And he did the walk of shame for some reason, carrying his boots and bare feet walking down the sidewalk.
Oh,
jeez.
no.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, and you see, there's a lot of things you could probably bitch about the show, but I've only seen the exact same fucking clip from people who didn't like the show or only were saying negative things about it.
I've seen plenty of different clips from it.
Okay, but were they given like critiquing it and saying good things, or were they only bashing it?
They're doing proper, clear critiques.
Okay.
Then
Oh, I remember when
obscenity
Overlord.
filled rants against it.
I
Yeah.
remember when Overlord DVD did some commentaries on it, and he said he actually liked the actress, and he did say some positive things, that he did enjoy about the show.
Yeah,
So I think he tried to, be somewhat balanced at least.
no, I was talking about the ones that they only bitched about it. They were not saying different things like Dave Collin and Critical Drinker said they were saying the exact same things. There's a few others I can't remember which.
Don't
channels
watch pop culture stuff for Dave Collin.
But
Dave Collin basically watches Critical Drinker for any of his pop culture stuff.
yeah,
I find Critical Drinkers pretty good most of the time, though. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I guess even then, though, he does probably go a little bit overboard from time to time. Then again, though, I don't take everything he says too seriously because he does kind of go for the comedy as well in a lot of his videos. So
Oh yeah, the only reason I listen to the Critical Drinker is he's pretty funny.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, we do want to be entertained when we're watching other YouTubers. I mean, that's
Yeah.
why I watch all of you guys, because you guys are intelligent. You got a good point of view, and you're fun to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I try to say positive things about it just because I'm not a writer. But I'm not a writer. I've never tried to write anything except a research paper in ninth grade. That's that's about the extent of my writing there. So it's like, who's to say I can write something better? Now I could take a script and go, maybe I will change this, this, and this, but kept to the same premise there of the episode.
That's
You know?
being way too nice.
Yeah, maybe way too nice,
Yeah.
but
I mean, I probably couldn't write anything great either because I've never tried. But the thing is, with a lot of these people in the writers' rooms doing these shows, they're supposedly supposed to have some kind of professional credentials, I would hope, before they get these high-paid jobs. But I kind of wonder, what actual credentials they do have, because the stuff that's coming out,
They know a guy. That's their
Yeah.
credentials.
Nepotism.
it seems like it. Yeah.
They went
Right,
to a cheap
or
school, and they
there's-
know a guy,
there's-
and they
there's
work
skin
for
co-
half of
right.
the price the actual talented guys do.
Well, what it is their skin color and their sexual preference. That's what gets them a job now.
Yeah, but don't they have to know somebody to get it from just that way?
Nope.
Also, because didn't they just pick somebody? Wasn't it one of the Star Wars shows? She never writ or Star Trek. She never wrote a damn thing in her life, but she
A lot
had
of
a
them like
great activist point of view, so they
Oh,
hired her.
jeez.
Same with the writers of the She-Hulk. They had no experience, but they did it.
That's it.
They had no experience, but yet they got the job
Yeah,
because they checked the right boxes. That's all it is now.
Well, I'm going to check a box. I'm a consumer.
Right, which is the last thing they care about, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And we all see them losing money, but the thing is the liberal agenda has very deep pockets. So they knew
And
going
they can
in,
just write off a lot of those losses.
right? And they knew going in that this is going to be a battle, and they're not planning on giving it up anytime soon.
Is this true that a lot of these productions get movie money or TV money from like the government?
Well, they have government subsidiaries when the lockdowns happened. Our tax dollars went into Hollywood, literally, yes.
What?
Right, so you're paying for that crap whether you watch it or not.
Holy crap! No way.
They'll
The
get
state of California and the federal government.
they'll probably get tax breaks too on stuff, I would
They
imagine.
do. The government. Oh, the governor here gives them anything they want. Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same up here. It's the same up here in my part of Canada, but because
Right.
Vancouver's such a major production facility, right? We got studios there, and they're probably doing $1 billion worth of business every year. So, of course, the government's going to give them some tax deductions just to keep the industry here, right? And
Yeah.
the
Right.
jobs here.
Yeah.
So,
I've
All right,
never
guys,
heard of-
I'll be-
deduction is just a wheelbarrow of money that California is bringing them.
All right, go ahead,
Yeah.
Gorilla.
all right, guys, I'll be right back. Don't get my channel banned.
okay.
but
Anyway,
you know,
that's miserable.
but PvP, Vancouver's got a great reputation for decades and decades and decades.
Oh yeah, it does since probably at least the 80s, I would say, because I think that
Yeah.
was around late 80s when they started doing X-Files there.
Yeah,
That was
and
probably one of the first TV series that we did for 5 years here, and then they moved it to California, and I could see the quality going down.
well, I agree, and I have the co-creator of Stargate, Brad Wright, and then I got Joseph Malazzi, and
Cool.
they follow me, and
Wow.
they say the same thing that they'd rather do it up in Vancouver, even opposed to Toronto, but Toronto's probably a close second. But
yeah, it's big too. Yeah.
but they were like, oh, please don't move our production down to the US because it's gonna change. There's some kind of magic been going on, like you said, since the 80s up there.
I noticed that, yeah, since at least like 85, like the Ray Bradbury Theater was all in Canada, and that started in
Yeah.
85.
Well, a lot of the I think, were all the Star Trek series produced here? I think they might have been, because I know Atlantis was, because I was a big fan of that show when it was on the original run. And I think the first Stargate probably was produced here too, and I guess the
It was.
series.
It was all of them were, and
Yeah.
then Stargate Universe was the last one in Vancouver,
Right.
and
Yeah.
Bridgetown Studios, they loved Brad and Joseph Joe. They loved that studio, and the crew. They loved. I think they loved the crew and
Yeah.
the studio more than they did the actors. But they loved the actors. But you know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
just had this thing about. There's this. I hate to use this word, but synergy that was so magical from the gaffer all the way up to the to the studio head. I mean, it was just nobody was like, I'm the star of this show, I'm the lead,
Yeah.
or I'm the producer. It was just like, hey, we really dig what we're doing and let's do it right. You
Yeah.
know?
The crews
Oh yeah,
here
you
have a
got
very
that
very
much
good.
distance between you and the studio, you can get a lot done.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. A lot of the, the studio control is coming out of, Hollywood or whatever, even though if it's being produced and filmed in Vancouver. But the crews do have that reputation of being very high quality professionals. So a lot of projects do like to come to Vancouver for that reason. And also the studios, are high quality studios as well. And plus we've got the environment, we've got the, nature, we've got the ocean, we've got the forest, we've got the mountains. If you want to do location shooting,
Yeah.
it's like when I used to watch Atlantis, and they'd film, a lot of the outdoor stuff, in the forests, and it was pretty nice.
Yeah,
the state right beneath Vancouver will tax and regulate the living shit out of you.
Well, look at the Superman sequels. A lot of them were shot in Canada, and they tried to make them look like New York. I remember that was one of the problems Christopher
Oh,
Reeve
we
had.
always
He didn't
we
like
always are
that.
trying to look like somewhere else.
Yeah.
and
Well, he's-
wasn't Battlestar Galactica in Vancouver too?
I
The
think
original or the reboot?
I
I
know
think
some
the
of
The
them.
reboot, the new
The
one.
reboot,
Okay.
I believe,
Probably.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, because the
They
guy who played Boltar in that for a good time, he was actually living in the Seattle area
Oh wow.
because he'd go to a lot of Mariners games.
Oh, really? That's
What
cool.
about like Hercules and Xena? Weren't those all shot up there too?
Yeah, I think so.
Hercules and
Probably.
Xena, a lot of
Wouldn't
them
be
were shot.
surprised.
New Zealand?
Yeah,
Okay.
Did y'all know or hear about the new Battlestar they're working on? Actually,
Oh, gee.
two
Grown.
the
Grown,
two different versions. Yet they're going to try to tie them together. So figure out what the hell that means.
Right. It's like, look, kids, we're making a remake of a ripoff of Star Wars. Come and watch.
Yeah, and I remember, back to talking about prostitutes or whatever, Firefly. They in the original Battlestar they called her a socialator for a couple of episodes, or maybe one or two episodes, and then all of a sudden she became a nurse assistant to the doctor. She was no longer a socialator, so they nixed that real quick.
Hmm.
And then that
back
argument,
then that would have been a huge red flag for the networks.
yeah. But then you wonder about some of the other shows that aren't even sci-fi that got away with a lot of things. It's like, wow, it's crazy. But yeah, they're going to do another Battlestar Galactica, and then two of them. But I think one's going to be a movie, not quite like. They're somehow going to tie it to the new show, and that's all we've heard so far. They're working on it right now, but I'm like, sometimes you should just leave magic alone.
Yeah.
How many shows win a Peabody Award?
That's the problem. They can't do anything original anymore. Everything's got to be a bloody reboot or a remake or a sequel. Or
Yeah, and
it's
you
crazy.
guys heard,
They just want
Right,
the name
you guys
tattooed
heard-
on it to
right?
get
You
eyeballs.
heard they're even gonna reboot Harry Potter.
What?
I didn't know Harry Potter went away.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's that recent.
Well, those
Yeah, they're gonna do
Fantastic
it.
Beasts movies ran dry, so they have to
Right.
do
They
something.
failed
else to
miserably.
turn up
They don't
money.
know. I think what it is they don't know if they could trust new books from J.K. Rowling because she's pretty much canceled. So I think they're thinking that they can still sell her old books once again. Is what they're I
Right.
think
She actually made the mistake of speaking her mind and being honest, right?
right. Shame on her. And who's the next actress up for the generation, Jamie Lee Curtis, they're going after her now.
Geez.
What did she do?
She's the parent of 2 celebrities. So she was entitled going in, is what they're saying.
Oh, come on. That's crazy.
I know.
Oh my god.
Oh, man. What kind of world are we living
well,
in?
What's funny is you live in liberal Hollywood, and what it is even Obama. I remember it was Obama. I hated the man, but even he said, he goes, if you're in a firing squad that's a circle, it gets smaller and smaller.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah. Well, Obama wasn't stupid anyway. I mean, he did have a brain, so
No, but he was a
I'm
crook.
not surprised.
And he was very divisive of the country.
Wow.
He's the one that brought racism to the forefront.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
I don't have a huge problem with Obama, but he did definitely have his flaws. I noticed he made some mistakes.
He had a lot
and,
of flaws.
He definitely was.
He tried
not
to make
perfect.
our healthcare system look more like your healthcare system.
Well, our healthcare system works pretty good. I hate to say it, guys, but
the problem is that the Obamacare was basically punishing poor people who couldn't afford health care.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
maybe I don't really know enough about what went on with that to really.
Yeah, what it was, here's where
comment
Obamacare was funded. What it was is, I'll go give you an example. Me, I don't make enough to afford good insurance.
Private insurance, right?
Private insurance. So I just don't have it. So I was the one thing that they would, every time I pay my taxes, if I didn't have medical insurance, I pay a penalty, and that's a penalty that was funding Obamacare. And that Obamacare goes towards illegal immigrants. They immediately qualify for all full medical and dental.
Okay, well, that's not right.
Maybe we should.
That's fully subsidized.
Maybe we should steer it back to Hollywood.
Guys like me who have a fairly well-off job, our premiums went up 300%.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it sounds like you guys got some messed up politics going on down there for sure.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I would say so.
Wow.
It's
300%.
Dumpster fire.
Well, did you hear now they're giving women, ready for this one? They're getting immediate income if they become pregnant.
What?
So you immediately got universal basic income as soon as you're pregnant, which means all you got to do is become pregnant, and you have full. Think about this: full benefits of money, medical, dental, food, housing, everything tax free for the next 19 to 20 years.
Okay, I'm going to be the first male to be pregnant, and I'm moving to California then.
Hey, don't
Too late. Too late.
I'm gonna say I'm pregnant.
That's
Go
crazy.
to San Francisco and tell them you're LGBT, whatever that is, and you get $2,000 a month automatically.
How much?
Crazy.
$2,000.
Oh my God!
And now tell them you're homeless, you'll get an additional $700, and tell them you're hungry, and you'll get another $400.
How much is that a year? 40,000.
At least tax free.
Tax free.
And panhandling, even aggressive panhandling, is legalized. So go for it.
Also shoplifting has been decriminalized.
Right, up to $1,000, right, for each. Yeah, you just walk in and walk out. They won't even stop you. So,
but Gorilla said not to get a stream struck, but we'll just,
Well, we're not saying anything that's not true, so it shouldn't get struck.
Let's steer away from this just a little bit.
Yeah, maybe we should steer away.
Also, 10 minutes. I want to wrap this up because I want to go to the store before Pop Culture stream.
Yeah, I should put some
so
stuff on too, I guess.
What do the roads look like, Gorilla?
You guys there?
Hello? Yeah, Gorilla. How do the roads look, Gorilla?
Oh, just I had you muted. There, my headphones came unplugged. What's that?
How do the roads look? Oh, you got ice, snow, what?
They got them all plowed down. We're down to mostly blue with a few pink spots on the map.
Well, be careful.
Cool.
Yeah, drive safe.
Blue
and take
is
your
what
time.
you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's only a couple blocks.
Yeah, but still.
Last night.
Man, I tell you, I could not. I mean, I live, southeast, the way southeast that you could go, and I got -15. And today it was a balmy 29 degrees with possible snow tonight. And I'm like,
it's supposed to be up to 33 tomorrow.
I think I'm about a week ahead of all you guys. All last week, I went through like 8 days of below freezing. And then right around the end of Christmas Eve, it started going up.
What part of the country are you in, Germ?
I am in Seattle.
Seattle.
Okay, you're just south of me, not too far then.
So I
So
guess
I'm
that's the
up in
only I'm lucky
BC,
about is
so
it's the warmest where I'm at compared to everybody else on this
it
panel, I guess.
it's 4 Celsius here right now, which is balmy compared to what it has been over the last few weeks. So.
Yeah, my mom used to live in the Yukon.
Oh, really?
That's north north
Yeah, that's north of
east.
BC.
Yeah. And Quebec was her province, and my grandparents and stuff grew up there, and they're like,
Okay.
you don't know what the hell cold is. This ain't cold, this is regular for us.
Yeah, usually we don't get it that bad here because we're quite far south, right? So we don't get anything near as cold as the Yukon generally would. That's for sure. But we got like minus 20 something Celsius a couple weeks ago for about 3 or 4 days, and it was bone chilling cold when you go outside. It was
And
awful.
check this out. In 2 days, it's going to be 63 degrees
Nice.
where I am. And I'm
63
like,
Fahrenheit. Wow.
yeah, I was like, wow, after this cyclone bomb weather thing, whatever they called it, I'm like, oh crap, But
Yeah, the weather's been crazy this winter. Like we've got about 5 dumps of snow now in the last couple of months, and we got quite a bit. I mean, I don't know how many times I've had to shovel it off of my car, but I'm getting awfully tired of doing it.
I was worried about my car because, it's the first time it got to negative 15, but I did put a moving blanket over the engine for a couple of days, and it actually started. So I was surprised, and I drove it real slow because they said, don't just start up your car and take off. Warm it up.
No, you want to let it warm up.
Yeah.
And then go slow. And then
I
go
usually let it
slow.
warm up for a couple of minutes at least. Yeah.
Yeah, and then drive. They said drive slow. Don't drive. Work your way up to the speed limit. Just don't gun it and start going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know people have done that, and their car usually is being a piece of garbage. They don't understand. They don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got a block heater too, if you could plug it in somewhere, that can help keep things, from
Yeah. Well,
freezing up.
this for us was really weird. And then LDG, I think they got down to 35 or 40. And I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, everybody hates Florida Day.
Yeah. He got to like 40, 45, and he was bitching about it.
Yeah, it's cold. It's cold. I'm like, well, why don't you come over a little here, a little west of you, and a little higher, and just come on into Georgia and Alabama, and you'll figure it out real quick.
Yeah.
Like damn cold.
Yeah, this winter's not been fun so far. It seems like everywhere's getting hit with pretty bad winter though, because I've seen pictures of like back east and like Ontario and Quebec, and it looks really bad out there, like just covered in snow and ice and stuff.
Yeah,
we were supposed to get freezing rain today, but thank goodness we didn't get any. So, fingers crossed.
What province are you in?
In BC.
Oh, okay, BC. Yeah, okay. Yeah. My mom talked to some of relatives in Quebec, and they're like, "Holy crap!" And then they said turn on the news to look at Buffalo, and I think Buffalo really got hit the worst.
Well, I guess it gets the lake effect snow there too, probably, doesn't it?
Like 47 people passed away in this.
That's scary. I've read some of that stuff online. It's awful what's going on.
But a lot of it is people stop prepping for this stuff. I know a lot of people here, they had nothing. They were told for a week and a half, yeah, this is going to be pretty cold. You're not going to see above freezing for at least a week. They did nothing. They just sat there, woke up to an ice rink outside, and we're all shocked.
Yeah, well, I didn't. I made sure my engine coolant, the gas was, they said to fill your tank up, and I did all of that to double check. I mean, it was already winterized, but I did double check, and I filled up the gas, and I put a little, I had 2/3 in the engine coolant, but I filled it up to the full line.
What does not having your gas full do? What's wrong with that? Gas doesn't freeze, right?
So.
Gas doesn't freeze.
You can get more moisture in the gas tank.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's it.
I've heard the gas line.
Gas tanks.
I think the gas line can freeze if it gets cold enough, but I've never had that happen yet, thank goodness. But
But
I've
like
heard from people that can happen.
yeah, Resolute, like that's it. Resolute. It said if you didn't have enough, enough, or you should fill it up because the moisture would screw up your fuel lines and stuff. And
Yeah.
my car, it always goes yo ding 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 when it gets to half a tank of gas. They always want me to keep at least a half a tank of gas, not to go below it for the
Oh,
car.
that's interesting.
Yeah,
Mine weighs
that's-
still like maybe 20 miles worth of gas left in it. What kind of car do you drive?
A Kia Forte.
A Kia. Okay.
And I had to go buy special coolant for it too. I didn't even know they had special coolant for different types of cars.
I know. I have a Toyota. It's the same thing. I don't know why. It's probably just so they
It's
can charge
the
extra.
Asian production models.
And it was damn $30 for a damn bottle. I'm like, don't you have a little,
That's why it's specialized.
yeah, a quart? I just need a quart. You know
Right.
what I mean? Not 30 damn dollars.
Is it synthetic, the oil?
Yeah.
Yep, same as mine. Extra, extra.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
You ready?
Time to gorilla.
Finish your sentence there, Gap.
Oh no, I was just complaining about the price. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this up because I do gotta get to the store here back before Pop Culture
Nice day.
Stream. So I'm gonna
Nice
do
day.
everybody in the chat, then I'll have you guys plug your channels and all that.
All right,
Thank you.
drive safe, Gorilla.
Yeah, thank you, Skogly, for coming there. Check out his channel. He has a bunch of different music stuff on there. It looks pretty cool. Thank you, Darren Wagner, for coming. He does occasional live streams and all that. I'm not.
Live streams. He did a lot of Navy stuff for videos before.
Yeah,
This is
It looks
great.
like
I
a lot of reviews and stuff.
have to share this with you guys. A friend of mine, I haven't talked to him in a while, and he said, "Hello, how's your Christmas?" I said, "Are you at your mom's for Christmas?" And he asked me, "No, how about you?" And I said, "My mom is dead, so I hope I'm not there."
Yeah. Thank you, Yvette, for coming. I'll see you in the backstage sometime. I'll try to make it back there sometime this week. Thank you, Brandon Looney Tunes fan 2000. If you like Looney Tunes and all that, check him out. He usually does like the opening sequences and the closing sequences there.
DVD walkthroughs too.
Oh, yep. Thank you, LDG, for coming. He does his Unstrikeable streams. I don't know when his next one is, but you got to catch those live. But if you ever need like technical help or need a place to hang out, go to freethenet.org/underground. He has a backstage there. That's always fun. Let's see, Gap, you're on the panel. So I believe that's everybody that's not on the panel in the chat.
Cool.
All right, let's start with PvP.
Well, nothing much. I still never got around to putting any actual video content. It's just music playlists and of videos and albums and stuff. So if anybody's into music and needs something to listen to in the
Yeah.
background,
Weren't you going to
they
do
could
watch
go.
parties?
Yeah.
this week?
I was just mentioned it last night when we were doing the watch party on your stream, Gorilla. But I just haven't got around to it yet. It just seems like the days are going by and with Christmas. But since Christmas is pretty much officially done now, I really should get some of that stuff done this week, which I hopefully will do.
Alrighty. And pop culture?
Oh, I usually do on Mondays. Today's Monday, right? I usually do Star Trek the Animated Series reviews, and I do it with Jill and Gorilla's Random Thoughts, but we're not doing it this week because the holidays will pick up next week. And Tuesday, you'll catch me on Anti-Derivative Jill's channel doing Star Trek the original series. And Wednesday, Gorilla and I do Gilligan's Island. I also do random rumblings and musings from the lab streams with open mic and open topic. I'm going to do that tonight in about 30 minutes. If any of you guys would like to join me, I appreciate it.
All right, Germ.
Yeah, Saturday morning cartoons, 8 a.m. Pacific, and other cartoon content coming into New Year.
Alrighty, and Gap.
It's Gap After Dark, and I only do shorts on my collection, and that's it. I got 408 subs, I think, and I'm gonna try when I get somebody to show me how to get an animated avatar where I don't have to show my face, because I don't really care to show my face.
Hey,
I'm gonna start streaming.
yeah, head to the underground. LGG will help you with that, no problem.
Yeah, he said to come in there when Tim is in there, because Tim's really good at it.
Tim's always
And-
in there.
Yeah, and I tried a few streams, but winging. I haven't figured out winging it, or should I have a scripted thing, or I want to thank you, Gorilla, for having me on the panel, and nice to meet PvP and to see Resolute and
Yeah.
Pop Culture.
Nice to meet you too, Gap.
Thanks
Well-
for having me on, because I just don't know where I want to go with it, so I just mess around with my toy shorts, and
Well,
that's it.
Gap. What I been doing here lately is everything is unscripted, but like on these random thoughts with Gorilla, I have a starting point of what I want to talk about. Then it usually devolves into something else. Like tonight was, why do we always give the old shows a pass on certain stuff or that, but we don't get the new shows? Then it devolved into whatever the conversation led to. There's other stuff that, whatever you want to talk about for that day or start off with, and then let the conversation evolve from there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this stream. You guys are awesome, and the chat is awesome. And, I like these kind of streams. You learn a lot and you get to know people. And thank you for having me, Gorilla.
Yeah, no problem. So my next stream will be Wednesday there. We're doing our Stranger Things there and a watch party. Then on Wednesday or on Thursday, we're reviewing, I believe it's the episode The Prey from the Waltons. Then Saturday, I'm pretty sure I'll have Babylon 5 back by Saturday there, New Year's Eve. Then on Sunday, we'll be starting our dystopian future with our dystopian month with Brave New World. Now, I will be fitting in a short video there as a man that keeps his promises there. And apparently, when I got drunk one night there, and this is why I haven't really drank anything since then, I said if I got 275 subs by the time the ball dropped on New Year's Eve, that I would sing Barbie Girl.
What?
I am. Apparently, there's video proof of this. So I'll be singing Barbie Girl because I'm currently at 306.
Okay, so you're gonna sing Barbie Girl on a live stream in a bikini. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll be coming out sometime
They
this
don't
week.
make bikinis in that size.
Hey, Jeremy, have you forgot what year we in? I could get bikinis that can fit a person 3 times my size. No, I won't be doing a bikini and all that, but I will be singing Barbie Girl for maybe I'll divulge it into a karaoke stream. Maybe I'll do a karaoke stream on New Year's Eve, and the opening thing will be Barbie Girl.
That would be great, actually.
Are you gonna have Barbies? Are you gonna have Barbies dancing behind you while you're singing?
If you figure out how to do it, I'll do it.
Well, make sure when you sing it with feeling. All right, like you mean it.
Yeah, pop culture. What was the song you wanted me to sing?
It's Raining Man, your favorite.
Okay. And did I tell you 400 by the end of February?
Okay, and the bikini then. So you heard that, guys. Let's get him up to 400 by the end of February.
Yeah, if it's at the end of February, I will sing "It's Raining Men."
All right, 400, right? Okay.
Yeah.
We have a mission
You
now.
keep up those shorts, you'll pass that.
Absolutely.
Well, I only did what 8, 9 of them today.
Are they helping you get subs?
So I've gotten a few of them through my shorts there,
Very cool.
especially when I said don't buy that piece of shit shovel.
Are you talking about YouTube Shorts or the other ones?
YouTube shorts.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Just making sure
That's
I'm on
what's-
the right track.
I guarantee that's what's propelling most of your growth is those YouTube shorts.
Yeah. Well,
Keep making
people
those
like
and-
them.
Sky's the limit.
Yep, I agree. I like them too.
Yeah, especially when I showed my new Star Trek comics that was a Christmas present.
Mm.
Yeah, people love Star Trek. Those are my best clicks, my best videos, or anything have to do with Star Trek.
I love your
My
Star
best
Trek
shorts are the
comics.
food ones.
Hey,
Oh yeah,
why
your
don't
food
you-
ones.
Hey, Resolute, why don't you take the Star Trek cookbook with Neelix on the cover and start doing some shorts of cooking from the Star Trek cookbook?
I wouldn't do that. I can't afford to burn my kitchen down.
Oh, give me the cookbook and I'll do it. Yeah.
Okay, I got you on the Star Trek cookbook. I got one.
All right. So you guys all have a good night. Remember to be a gorilla.
Take care,
Okay.
everybody.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
too, Gorilla.